So LeBron James is a Laker. I'm sure you knew that one already, but in case you didn't, there you go. And the team around him seems to be established at least for one season, a lot of one-year contracts on this team. So I think the young players is maybe the more interesting conversation, how these guys fit in with LeBron in terms of Josh Hart and Lonzo Ball, and then there's Kyle Kuzma and Brandon Ingram as well. I pretty much like all these guys. It's going to be a matter of, while they're talented, are they ready for this moment that they now have to face? But we will address the veterans as well, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Lance Stevenson, as well as Rajon Rondo. There's a lot of stuff to get to with this team, and I think there's a lot of uncertainty, but one thing that we do know is that LeBron's going to be awesome, and that's certainly going to help him out. But we're going to begin with the outside shooting, or the lack of outside shooting, which I think was the big thing that everybody went to right when LeBron signed here. I liked Lonzo a lot in his rookie season. Even so, I think his jump shot was definitely, a minus. And Rondo's gotten a little better, but he's not a natural outside player. And for most of LeBron's career, it's been a matter of he dominates the ball, as he should, because if there's anyone smarter than him in the NBA, I'd love to know who it is. And, of course, you put shooters around him, and it's been a recipe for success, right? Well, this is what I believe. I think LeBron has maybe never played with two playmakers on his team as good as Lonzo and Rondo. These are two guys who have led offenses. I mean, in the case of Rondo, of course, one of the top assist guys, and the Lakers' offense, I mean, it still wasn't beautiful last season just because the talent wasn't the best, but I mean, they were a better team with Lonzo in the game, right? Their record with him was way better than when they did not have him, and I think LeBron can play off of those two pretty well because I don't see any reason to believe that LeBron cannot be a great off-ball player because he's got everything you would want. His three-point shot has gotten better as he's aged, and I wouldn't be surprised if he really is committing to playing off the ball, which all reports say that he wants to do that. I wouldn't be shocked if he was even a little better from outside for this upcoming season. He's also just an excellent cutter. I mean, LeBron, like I already mentioned, the dude's smart as hell. If you've got a 6'8" guy who can overpower anyone, who can make threes and then cut to the rim and just do whatever the hell he wants when Lonzo and Rondo are operating in a pick and roll or whatever, how the hell are you going to defend that, right? Also a very good post-up player, so you can just have him go down on the low block, or if he gets a switch from an off-ball screen, one of these guys can get it to him. The fast break with Lonzo and LeBron should be very good as well. And then Rondo can execute almost any pass that he wants. Bounce pass, alley-oops. So I think with these two, we could see LeBron scoring in ways that we haven't seen him score really since his days in Miami. So that could be some interesting things, and that could open up this team's offense a lot. And if you turn LeBron into a shooter, then suddenly this team doesn't have as much of a lack of outside shooting, right? Next, I want to get to Brandon Ingram, who to me is like a Swiss Army knife on offense, where he can kind of do whatever you want him to do. I think he's a good enough ball handler and playmaker to where we could see him making some plays for LeBron. But I also think Ingram is capable of doing some off-ball stuff himself. He could tighten up his dribble a little bit more, still needs to get stronger. I wish his jump shot had a little bit more confidence behind it, we'll have to see. But he did make some real strides in his second season, and I think he can just kind of do whatever this Laker team asks him to do. Kyle Kuzma is maybe the easiest fit next to LeBron because he was a really good off-ball player before they got one of the best passers of all time. Three-point shooting, posting up on small guys, transition, cutting to the rim, being content with not dribbling the ball that much. Kyle Kuzma was made to play next to LeBron James. And I think some similar things can be said with Josh Hart. Difference being, I think Hart, you could see him making some more plays than Kuzma will. This team does have quite a few ball handlers, and I can understand why Magic and LeBron have decided to go in this direction, because it just gives you more versatility, right? And that's, of course, a good thing in today's NBA. So I've been pretty positive of these guys. We'll get to the negatives a bit here. I'm definitely more pro this team than against this team, but one thing is, while I think LeBron as a small ball center option can be a real thing, you can't do that all the time. I am going to sound like a broken record on this because I say this every time I talk about this team now. I mean, between Zubats, the rookie, Mo Wagner, who's more of an offensive guy, and then JaVale McGee, who's been under average most of his career, center position is not beautiful. I think making an acquisition at some point could help them out. Another thing that scares me is the combustibility of this team. We saw Rondo quit on the Mavericks. We saw Lance Stevenson lose his mind in Charlotte because his expectations for what they were going to ask him to do were way out of line. And you combine that with a guy like KCP, who I think has never totally realized what he should be doing in the NBA, takes over the offense way more than he should. Like, to me, he should just be a better version of Iman Shumpert. So there's a chance that these veterans could get kind of frustrated if the young dudes are playing over them. Also, because they do not have Kawhi Leonard, which I think is fine, because I think the Spurs were asking for too much, and there's a decent chance they'll get him or some other free agent in a year from now. So I'm fine with them not making a big trade, but it doesn't change the fact that they only have one guy who can really put up points on the board, so that does put a cap on how good you can really be offensively in today's NBA. But even with all that, I think this Lakers team is going to be pretty damn good. The amount of ball handlers and tall defenders this team has is pretty interesting. And then, of course, when you put LeBron James into the mix, they'll be good. I think they could be somewhere between the 3rd seed and maybe 5th seed in the West.